Okay, perfect. It says that we are live. Hopefully we are. The dogs stopped having a meltdown about 10 seconds ago, so if we're lucky, it's not gonna repeat itself anymore. I know. Hello everybody. Hi to all of you. All 5 of you, all 7 of you actually already on YouTube. Good to see you. How are you? Let me know if everything is okay, if you can hear me, if you can see me. Hopefully it's all fine. Oh, I also have to launch the TikTok, I forgot. Silly me. It's time we launch the TikTok too. Okay. And, oh, yay. Thank you, Zoe. Hi, thank you for letting me know, because you know how things are every single time. Okay, we are live, which is wonderful. And staring at the map of the air raid alerts, as always. Same old, same old. It's a weird one. One more time, we have several regions in the center of the map that are calm, good for them, and then, yeah, they're squeezed in between the parts of the country that are not having a good time already. Hello. Good to see you. Good to see you guys. Welcome. Thank you for joining. I'm okay, Diane. Thank you for asking. And hi, Direwolf. How are you guys? I've been having, I don't know, something's been off today slightly with the pollen, I think. The hay fever of sorts. Something is happening because my allergies have been acting up a little bit, but that's fine. I took my medicine, so I'm a little slow, but but we will have to push through it, I guess. Well, if I start lagging, literally me, not just my internet, but me, know that it's the medicine. And then, yeah, it happens. And hi, Moo, good to see you. Good to see you guys. Hello. As always. I know, right? This is why I've been falling asleep for the last several hours. But, you know, between falling asleep and uncontrollable, insane sneezing, I think, I I prefer the almost falling asleep. It's at least it's aesthetically, you know, not as repulsive as the sneezing and the no. Thank you. How is it going, everybody? Hi, hello everyone. Hi, Loris, and hi, Rich. Hello, Beverly. Good to see you guys. All is good, all is well here. Thank you, everyone. How are you doing? Let me know. Good evening. Good evening. We're having a nice evening. Just about 5 minutes ago, my dogs were having a massive collective meltdown. So there was all kinds of barking, thank you, from all sides. But thankfully now they've gone quiet, but you never know with these creatures of the dark. Yeah, they can always start over again with the barking and the insanity. Oh, hi, Melly. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, we're also doing YouTube and we're doing TikTok. We're multitasking. Thank you and welcome and thank you for joining us. I'm also going to be trying to keep up with both chats and both screens, and it might be challenging for me today because I'm slow, but it's okay. We will figure something out. All right. Hi, everybody. It finally rained. Oh, that's a relief. Thank God for that. And hi, Zoe, to you too. One more time. Yeah, I can always just go on a random rant and wake myself up. I know. I could just try that. How am I holding up? I mean, it's been okay. It's been okay recently. It's been better than before. So, yeah, we're holding up. We keep swimming, you know what I'm like. How are you feeling about Trump deadline for Putin? We've already seen the beginning glimpses of that, right? He took it to Truth Social, everybody. I'm sorry, we're starting with Trump, I know. but there was a question, so we might as well, get it over with. He took it to Truth Social, the most unexpected turn of events, I know. It was a huge rant about India. Remember, this is a quote from Trump's Truth Social, India is our friend. We have, over the years, done relatively little business with them because their tariffs are far too high, among the highest in the world, and they have the most heinous and obnoxious non-monetary trade barriers of any country. Also, they have always bought a vast majority of their military equipment from Russia, and are Russia's largest buyer of energy, along with China, at a time when everyone wants Russia to stop the killing in Ukraine. Wow, what a rhetoric, finally. Okay, all things not good. I know, buying stuff, high tariffs, trade barriers, and killing people in Ukraine. Not good. India will therefore be paying a tariff of 25%. So this is a teaser. This is a teaser of what he had promised before the secondary sanctions, hitting the countries that are buying Russia's stuff. India is a huge buyer of the Russian oil. And yes, it's also a huge buyer of the Russian military equipment. Is it going to work? Is it going to be implemented effectively and efficiently and actually going to have some sort of impact? Or is it going to be implemented like the rest of his tariffs and stuff? Who knows? So, but yeah, this is the teaser of what he had promised, basically, right? That's what the deadline was about. Because the main topic of conversation surrounding this upcoming measures, whatever, that it's going to be the secondary sanctions, right? The secondary sanctions on the countries that are dealing with Russia, that helping Russia circumvent the first sanctions, the central sanctions, if you wish. Hello, I'm already ranting about Trump. Yeah. Oh, you're going to Kyiv, Peter. Well, that's good. Enjoy Kyiv. Be safe out there, okay? You don't know what might happen. You never know what might happen in Kyiv these days. Finland has been hotter than the entire Europe. The world has gone crazy. I know. Thank you, Jam. Thank you, Taylor. Don't worry about me. Things are pretty much the same over here. It's pretty stable. Yeah, we've had some drones reaching out, but Russian drones these days are reaching out everywhere. They're reaching out even into the NATO countries, so no one is really safe from the drones anymore. And aside from that, it's been okay. So, and hi Karen, hi Vicky, hi guys. We're also live on YouTube, everybody, if you'd like to see the screen and the stuff that I'm showing. When will Putin die of old age? Our favorite conspiracy theory in this chat and this group of people is that he has already died. He has already died. He has been replaced by clones, and it didn't make any difference whatsoever because it's not just him, right? It's not just him, it's a group of people. It's the collective Kremlin. Oh, sorry, Mr. Lemon. But in all fairness, in all honesty, it's hard to say. It's really hard to say. I think what is true is that their system is going to adapt to no matter what's going to happen. They have been given such, little tastes and little vaccines against any possible responses. They have had this abundant opportunity to adjust and modify itself, and there are already now whole new entire ways of enriching themselves for the Russian oligarchs on the war and the circumvention of the sanctions and so yeah. Oh well. Do you have sharper knives now? Well, that's a good question. That's in reference to my borscht video on YouTube, right? If you haven't seen it, by the way, please go check it out. I've received some good reviews for that video. And yeah, my knives have been ridiculously dull. And I asked my dad, I threatened him. I said, my subscribers demand you do something about the knives. So he sharpened them a little bit. We can now work with that. So when I film the next cooking video on my YouTube channel, hopefully, it's gonna be not as embarrassing as the last time was. Hello, Los Angeles. I'm wearing a Beverly Hills shirt today, by the way. Yeah, I know. So that my haters could say that I've been secretly in Beverly Hills all along, because that's how it works. You always have the location written on your shirt. Trump is mad about South Park. Of course he is. When is he not mad? When is he not mad about things? Come on. Yeah, there was an earthquake today in Russia, right? And there was this massive tsunami warning everywhere in East Pacific. And not only, there was a tsunami warning in Japan and the Philippines and Alaska and Hawaii, just everywhere. But thankfully, by the looks of it, it was more or less okay. I think I had some footage, let me see, from the Russians screaming. Sorry, this is so funny. But no, I will explain in a second. Nothing bad is happening. Those of you who are not on YouTube, you're not seeing. It's just the furniture shaking slightly, which is, if you've ever been to Japan, for instance, or any other seismically active zone, you would know that, this is what happens from time to time. But you would think this woman is being just executed publicly. I also like this post-Soviet chic in the apartment. It reminded me of both of my grandma's apartments. You have this, by the looks of it, Czechoslovakian furniture. You have 2 fridges, I think, next to it. Then there is the gamer chair, which is yay, 2025. And also the lamp. I think we had a similar lamp at my grandma's place back in Crimea. Anyway, yeah, so this is from Far East Russia when the earthquake hit. And the earthquake was pretty big, by the way. It was a pretty major earthquake. This is why the tsunami alert was so intense and for so many different places, because whenever the bigger the earthquake, the stronger the possible tsunami, the upcoming tsunami. Anyway, okay, no, that's enough screaming, lady. Thank you. Very dramatic. But yeah, earthquakes can be scary. I remember my first couple earthquakes in Japan. Of course, I knew they were coming, and you get these alerts, and you also know it's Japan, it's gonna happen. But still, it's like when the entire building starts just going, woo. That's not nice. All right. So yeah, that happened. Oh, that's wonderful. We love to hear it. How can Ukraine win the war? I honestly, I have no idea. I wish I did. Back in the day, I think I used to know, but I don't think I do anymore. Hi, Maddie. Good to see you. Good to see you. Is that... Yeah, that was the scream. By the way, about Trump, I heard that he had a lot of healthcare staff with him in Scotland. Yeah, I mean, I think it's been kind of speculated pretty widely that he has been having some health issues. Then there was this image of his devastatingly swollen ankles and stuff. He's an old guy, and he eats, like, what is he eating? Just cholesterol and grease and trans fats and sugar. So, thank you. It's not gonna be surprising if his health deteriorates. Let's see. Anyway, yeah. So the earthquake. Wait, I think there was also some additional footage from stuff shaking in the far eastern Russia.
Нихуя! Иди сюда!
They're swearing a lot.
А не видно, как трясется. Марина! Марина, выходи!
So Marina, go out. Marina, come out. Marina is not coming out, in fact. Yeah, the cars are also wobbly.
Блядь! Все 10!
I mean, it's good that they got out, so they know what to do.
Офигеть!
I think it was an 8.8 magnitude. But it's like, they literally live in a seismically active zone. Shouldn't they be used to stuff like this? I don't know. Okay, I think it's the same video. Everything is wobbly.
Нифига трясет.
Нифига трясет.
Капец сильно трясет. Капец сильно трясет.
Well, yeah. Okay, nothing groundbreaking, no pun intended, everybody. But yeah, this is on the earthquake. And then there was a tsunami situation happening as well in the far eastern Russia. I think it was in Kamchatka somewhere.
Вот алоид в воде уже.
You can just see that the water
Короче,
has
у нас
risen.
жопа. Ну, не то, что...
So, yeah, everybody. Some natural disasters. Also, interestingly, I have seen so many people attempting to live stream the upcoming tsunami. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. It just made me realize that we have shifted into an entirely new dimension, because even a couple of years ago it wasn't the case at all. But yeah, now we have the live streams of natural disasters and wars and everything, and yeah, it just adds to the uncanniness of everything. Oh well. Yeah, you're probably right. This one was surprisingly strong. So one of the strongest, apparently, recorded earthquakes. Oh well. But yeah, by the looks of it, it was... Hi, Sammy, good to see you. It was a relatively good, relatively okay. Not as many people, were injured as they could have been, and thankfully no major tsunami, so... Oh, thank you, Cole. Thank you. That's appreciated. That was... a long time ago. Yeah, I remember when I started posting about the war. Takes me back. Thank you for following. Medical people on TikTok are saying congestive heart failure. That's one of the possibilities. And hi, Adam, good to see you. Maybe Putin's mansion wobbled away. Oh, he wouldn't set his foot in the Far East. He wouldn't even go to Kamchatka. He doesn't even go there. All of his mansions are in the western parts of Russia. Of course, he probably has properties there too, but no, he has this palace in St. Petersburg area, actually several palaces, and then there is massive property also in the northern parts, but it's in the western part of Russia. Yeah, Maddie, good to have you back. I take my life in tsunami. I know, it's growing more and more dystopian with every single day. Anyway, let's also discuss several unpleasant things that have happened. So in the last couple of days, we had more Russian shellings. We had an attack on Zaporizhia region. Everybody, this is Zaporizhia, right? This is Zaporizhia Oblast of Ukraine. It's considered a frontline region. Parts of it are occupied by Russia. So if we go to... Thank you, Moo. If we go to the map, you can see that it's split, right? The Zaporizhia Oblast. There is a part of it that is under the Russian control, and the part that is under our control is constantly attacked by the Russians, by all kinds of munition that they have. And so yesterday there was a very bizarre and devastating attack. They have attacked a prison. There are prisons in Ukraine? What? Wake up, America. Yes, we have prisons in Ukraine. We have criminals in Ukraine. We have all kinds of different people in Ukraine. Who could have thought? And the Russians yesterday hit this colony in Zaporizhia, and 17 inmates were killed and 42 were injured in that attack, which is just... so many questions, so little answers. Something that I think we all realized when this was happening, first and foremost, was still keep prisoners in the frontline regions. And this immediately raises the question, okay, so what are we supposed to do with them? Are we supposed to evacuate them? Perhaps. And where do you evacuate them? Because, of course, the number of facilities is limited. Anyway, and second of all, also immediately everyone figured out that obviously no one is taking prisoners into shelters when there are air raid alerts from the enemy. So, anyway, this was the targeted shelling, surprisingly. And apparently there were several aerial bombs and yeah, this colony was among the targets. So as you can see, yeah, this is the result of some of the devastation in the area. As always, destroyed building, no windows, and at least 4 of the bombs were targeted directly at this prison. So it sounds very personal. It could have been personal, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if there was someone who they didn't like in that prison. But yeah, that was an entirely different level of awful, I guess. Something that I didn't necessarily expect. А ви про цей землетрус? Ну да, воно таке. Воно справді як сарай. Але вони всі в такому шоці там були. Що робити? Я не знаю, мене це трохи здивувало, тому що вони наче живуть в тому регіоні, там таке мусить траплятися постійно. Anyway. That was just about the earthquake. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everybody. Hello. Okay, so this was about the shelling. Then there was also another attack, but this one was on the training facility of our land forces, of our army, and there were 3 people killed and 18 injured. This particular article caught my eye, and this information being released also caught my eye, because usually information like this is kind of suppressed, right? It's hidden from the regular, from the mainstream audience, from the civilians, because it's considered classified information. But no, we were actually informed on the situation. It's a double-edged sword, because you never know with this stuff whether or not you should actually be reporting on this, because like I think it's very easy to say, okay, perhaps we shouldn't, perhaps it should be a secret, but then when they do not report on these things, then there's all of these waves of all of the attacks, informational attacks rising, of people starting to panic, and this concealing of the information being weaponized, basically, with the disinformation networks immediately spreading, they're hiding this information from you, wake up people, stuff like this. So I guess it's good that they started to reveal this information at the same time, and immediately raises several questions, including, for instance, why does this continue happening, because this is not the first instance like this. Hopefully this time we will learn from this attack. And also we had an attack on Pavlograd in Dnipropetrovska Oblast with 2 people injured and some cattle killed. So I imagine those were some sort of farms that were attacked in Pavlograd. And Dnipropetrovska Oblast, so wait, was this the one that I had open? I had some, no, this is not it. I also had some other sources open on this particular information, or so I thought. Okay, wait, I think I did. Yeah, this was Kamyanske, and they proclaimed that day to be like a memorial day for people who were killed and injured in this attack. So yeah, everybody, this is just some of the shellings from the last couple of days. I decided not to do all of them, because that's too much. I cannot handle it. But yeah, just a couple. Long live Lviv. Okay. Sure, slay. Why not? What the hell, sure. An interesting footage that I also wanted to show you is a lot of you are continuously wondering, how do people in the regions that are closer to the front lines, or that are the frontline regions that are under these constant attacks, how do they live? We've been discussing Odessa quite a few times, right? Thank you. And how they manage to even have a touristic season in the middle of the ongoing Russian attacks. So this is a footage of people in Odessa at the beach seeing the Shahed drone getting intercepted by our air defense. Look at this. And it's falling. And into the sea he goes. Wait, let's... She says, yeah, they got it. And then you can just see it dropping into the sea, and everyone's cheering. Everyone's like, yay! They got the drone. I cannot. This is the famous spirit of Odessa. The well of fire, if you will, if you wish. Yeah. I know some of you were wondering about that. Did Trump publicly acknowledge for the first time Russian casualties over 1 million? I'm not sure if it was him, but I've heard his officials in the past acknowledging these numbers. But I think perhaps, actually today, the only thing that I have heard from Trump was this thing that we already read about India. I haven't been looking into the rest of the stuff he said, but I think, yeah, it's at some point they will start to name numbers, I guess. But it's another question entirely, will people believe what he's saying, because his track record is not exactly solid. All governments hide some information about security, but Russia hides more. I think authoritarian regimes by default tend to hide more, and not necessarily because, well, I think it's the specifics, right, of a society that is structured like this. You do not have the free media that can dig and snoop around. You do not have too many competing interests, like different political parties trying to, you know, get some traction, trying to win over the voter, whatever. It's just a completely different process. So it's easier to cap this, I guess, at least from my experience of observing that place and its gradual descent into whatever it is that they have going for them, fascism, I guess. All right, that was just a little snippet of Odessa that I wanted to show you, because Odessa is pretty awesome. Let me see something else that I wanted to discuss. Today I have a very limited number of topics because, as I've already told you, I'm really wobbly today because of all the medicine that I have taken. Okay, so we had the Russian propagandist Solovyov, one of their key mouthpieces, once again calling for the testing of the nuclear weapons at Yavoriv in western Ukraine. And he also believes that it should be calculated, this nuclear strike that Russia should conduct, should be calculated in a way that would affect Poland more. So the nuclear fallout should affect and target Poland predominantly because they hate Poland. If you guys do not know, Russian propagandists absolutely hate and despise Poland. I don't think there is any other Central Eastern European country that they hate more. Obviously, Ukraine aside, it's different, but they don't think we are a country, right? With Poland, it's like this very special vitriol. And of course, he also called to erase Lviv, right? To completely destroy and eradicate Lviv. So I guess your long live Lviv message was it was to counterattack, to counter Solovyov's ridiculous rhetoric. Look at him, first and foremost. What in the Quasimodo is going on here?
Ядерное оружие-то привел. Ядерное оружие провел испытание, например, на Яворском полигоне.
Можно, нет, на Яворском.
Красноярском и надо.
I love this because, so how are these Russian propaganda shows structured? So you have the key clown at the heart of it, like here it's Solovyov, he's the star, right? And then he invites a bunch of other clowns whose main job is usually to nod and say, yes, master, we should do this exactly, what a wonderful idea. Sometimes there are characters they invite to punch, basically. I remember there was this one Russian show where they had this token American, hi Anne, good to see you, an American guy they would literally beat up from time to time. So they would ask him for a comment, he would say something, the host wouldn't like it, and then he would start beating up the guy. In this particular case, the clown that Solovyov has talking to him, you can see that he's visibly nervous. Hi Carol, good to see you. He's visibly nervous by the suggestion of a nuclear strike on Western Ukraine.
Например, на Яворском полигоне.
Look at his face.
Нет, на Яворске.
No, he starts chuckling.
Яворский полигон идеален для испытания ядерного оружия.
Яворский полигон даже в Советском Союзе не был предназначен для испытания ядерного оружия.
Yeah, it wasn't built, when it was built in the Soviet Union, it wasn't meant for the nuclear weapons to be tested. So the clown number 2 is not really happy about the suggestion. Hi Rox, thank you, good to see you.
Просто не жалко.
We're not sorry for them, says Solovyov.
Так что рассчитаем розу ветров, посмотрим, куда ветер дует, ну, чтобы на Польшу.
Есть много мест, так сказать, есть много мест, которые не жалко на этой карте мира.
He says, this other clown says, there are many places that we do not feel sorry for. They're not as... basically the places they're ready to sacrifice before Yavorivsky Polygon. And this is actually interesting because this is a part of their rhetoric. They have been very actively spreading this information about how Russian propagandists, that if they were to conduct a nuclear strike, it shouldn't be Ukraine, because why? Who cares about Ukraine to, carry out a nuclear strike against Ukraine? They should target London, they should target Germany, they should target, it's usually London. Thank you, Rox, appreciate it. And hi Feisty, good to see you. They should target all of these other places, so I guess this the clown number 2 is going for that, perhaps, or maybe he's just trying to save face, because at first he looked very spooked out by what Solovyov was suggesting. And while we're on the topic of the nuclear warfare, guess who allegedly moved their nuclear weapons to the UK? The United States of America. You guys are back. We're so back at the Cold War. We are back. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rox. Appreciate it. We are back. Like it was never over. This is Bloomberg reporting that the US has likely moved nuclear arms to the UK for the first time since 2008 as a signal to Putin. Yay. So... I guess it makes sense, right, on some level, but at the same time, I don't like this direction. The US has likely stationed nuclear weapons in the UK for the first time since 2008, in a signal to Russian President Putin that it remains committed to European security. Whoopsie daisy. It was a performance, huh? Okay. On July 16th, a US military aircraft flew with its transponder on, making its identification and location publicly visible. So yeah, it was clearly done to send a message from a US nuclear weapons depot at Kirtland Air Force Base in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Hey, I know that place from Breaking Bad. To an air base in the UK city of Lakenheath, I'm not sure what that is, according to defense analysts and open source data. So, yeah, how about that? Interesting timing, because it would have made, to silly little me, it would have made more sense. Remember how a couple of years ago Putin moved nuclear warheads to Belarus? Yeah, a lot of us have already forgotten about this, but he did. They have put some launchers, and they have put some of their whatever. I think it's the types that Iskander is capable of carrying. They have put it in Belarus. They send one of their most disgusting propagandists, Olga Skabeyeva, to cover it and interview Lukashenko when it was happening. Olga Skabeyeva, let me show. Look at her. Look at this inspired face. Hi Nick, good to see you. Yay, it's me. I know. we're discussing nuclear warfare. Join us in. Anyway, so this is her. She was covering this, interviewing Lukashenko. It would have been a very cool, response back then. But no, it is happening now. Okay, I guess this is a part of this whole tough rhetoric on Putin package, part of which was tariffs on India, maybe. So they have delivered the weapons. The aircraft most likely delivered were the new B-6112 thermonuclear bombs, everybody, increasing the number of US tactical nuclear weapons in Europe for the first time since the Cold War. You already know it. You already knew it. We are back. This is a down payment, and there is more to come on shifting NATO's deterrence posture towards strengthening. One of the experts on the matter said, returning US nuclear weapons to the UK is no small feat. Duh. I would imagine. Imagine it's no small feat. So we're moving somewhere, everybody. We're moving in a certain direction. What kind of direction is that? You tell me. We have 2 more regions of Ukraine under the air raid alert. This is the drones. The drones are coming in. It's already been pretty loud in some parts of the country. Now it's just gradually intensifying. Today we had several air raid alerts here as well. Russians have been raising their MiG with the daggers, right, that are very hard to intercept, the missiles. So yeah, we've been having an annoyingly loud day. So yeah, I know. Thank you for liking the live, and thank you for sharing, because apparently liking and sharing helps boost our little party, our little gathering, secret gathering into the world. So yeah, if you could tap, this would be appreciated. If you could share, it would also be appreciated. You know, if not, it's also fine. You can just continue hanging out, just the way we are and the way we were. Have I missed anything? No, I don't think I have. Let the Iron Curtain fall back again. I know. And also, while we're on the topic of everyone preparing to war, let's also discuss Germany preparing to war, something that triggers, for instance, former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev, whenever he hears anything about that. Hanging out. Oh god, Cold War II Electric Boogaloo, I know. Wait, did I miss a comment about Breaking Bad? And Nats is saying something about that movie series had me hooked, but had so much violence. I know, it's really bloody. It is, but I just love it so much. Not usually my first choice, but I watched the whole series. That's because the writing is so good. It's so good. It's so captivating. I love it. I have rewatched it I don't know how many times. I love Breaking Bad. One of my favorite shows ever. Which is, I know, it's a pretty basic choice, I guess, but it's just a very well-made show. I can't help it. Good to see you too, Stacy. Hope you're doing fine. Third World War. Yeah, it's already here. It's just gradually unraveling. Don't worry. Doesn't mean we're all gonna die. I know there's a lot of speculations regarding that. Hopefully we will not. I think there's a very strong chance a lot of us will survive, so... Anyway, Germany plans major defense orders, including 8,500 armored vehicles and 20 Eurofighters. What is a Eurofighter? Wait, I looked it up and I already forgot. Is it planes? The German government is preparing more than 60 military procurement proposals for parliamentary approval by the end of the year. The plans include the purchasing, yes, it's jets, Typhoon jets, up to 5,000 armored vehicles and at least 3,500 Patria armored personnel carriers. German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius outlined the priorities to lawmakers on Monday as part of efforts to transform the Bundeswehr into Europe's most capable military force. We're also back, I guess. On Wednesday, the government is expected to adopt a medium-term financial plan that would more than double Germany's annual defense budget to 162 billion euro over the next 4 years. Yeah, so this is the time limit, 4 years. The way I have learned about this information was from a comment made by the director of the Come Back Alive Foundation here in Ukraine, which a lot of you A lot of you remember Come Back Alive. It's the best, most trustworthy foundation to support the Ukrainian army and help Ukraine. And his comment was pretty ominous. He reposted this and he said, "Powerful. If only they wait." Yeah, this is his post. If only hopefully there's enough time, basically. And I was like, I don't like that. Yeah, because the deadline for these purchases is 4 years, right? So this plan is to purchase all of this stuff in the upcoming 4 years. There are, of course, a lot of worries that something might start earlier, before the 4-year mark. Oh well. Everybody shared. Thank you so much for sharing and for liking. I'm not gonna be, like one of those people who are like, guys, tap the screen. But it's of course appreciated, because I guess if people keep doing this, maybe it's for a reason. Wait, what's happening? Better Call Saul is not better. It's also good, but it's not better than Breaking Bad. No way. Ukraine and Russia both aren't good for the EU. Wait, who was talking about Russia for the EU? Excuse me? That's a really weird attempt to lump someone in who wasn't even invited. What? What are you talking about? How did we get here? Edis, why do you have Luffy as your profile picture? He would hate you with rhetoric like this. Oh well. Usually when Germany's preparing war, says Mew, the world is terrified, but not this time. I know, this is one of the times when it actually makes you feel better, seeing them, taking everything so seriously and preparing. Yeah, it's very different from the last time. But the Russians love the optics of trying to frame it as, it's the Third Reich, because to them everything is the Third Reich. It's literally like, you are the Third Reich, they are the Third Reich, everyone is the Third Reich, when in reality they are the Third Reich, but they refuse to see it, the Fourth Reich. But yeah, this is of course just propaganda, and this particular time around it makes sense for Germany to do these things as the country that is at the heart of the European Union and takes the European defense, as we see, pretty seriously. So yeah, a top priority planned order of these jets under contract that could be worth up to 3 billion euro. The government also aims to purchase the vehicles. Well, everything makes sense, right? And it hints at exactly the type of fighting they're expecting to happen. So yeah, very similar to what we're seeing here, I imagine, just based on the type of weaponry. So, yeah, in a bid to reduce Europe's dependence on the US, okay, for military satellite communications, Germany plans to invest more than 15 billion in upgrading its satellite infrastructure in the coming years. I think an important piece of information here that is missing is that it's not necessarily dependence on the US in particular, it's dependence on Elon Musk personally, because the man is insane. The man is a drug addict and a huge liability, and I think by this point in time, even the US military contractor, like even the US, the Pentagon understands this, and everyone in Europe also understood it very well. Remember how we discussed during one of our last live streams that in 2022, him freaking out at the last moment basically cost Ukraine our communication at the parts of the front line and at least a piece of our counteroffensive. Although we have also discussed in the past that there were many more issues with that. Yeah, very complicated topic, but just the fact that certain parts of you planning your military operation rely entirely on some guy somewhere in Texas or whatever the hell he is, going on a drug bender, freaking out, and then cutting off your communication chain. Yeah, that's not good. I imagine this is... Hi, Tizai, good to see you, thank you. I imagine this is not how you plan military operations, right? This is something that could be a lot of it, yeah, just unpleasant, just not cute. Anywho, so yeah, they're also planning on investing in this. And thank you, Dana. Hi, good to see you. Sources told Bloomberg that Germany's defense spending will increasingly prioritize European production. Good. As Chancellor Merz pushes for great independence from American defense suppliers, the ministry is also developing a drone strategy that is expected to generate several billion euros in orders from German firms such as Helsing and Quantum Systems. Drones, that's another important piece here, because the drone warfare, as you guys have already seen, as we already discussed and we're witnessing every single day, yeah, it's the warfare of the future, for better or for worse. Skabieva, go away. Go away, woman. Okay. And we also have a couple more places lighting up on the map of Ukraine. Wait, let me see what you guys are saying. His facilities are here, and I wish his terrible decisions and values were not the way they are here in Texas. Yeah, I know. He's been suspiciously quiet recently, right? He went kind of quiet, which I think maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing. Hard to say. Yeah, we go live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we're also live on YouTube if you would like to see the stuff that we're discussing, at least some of it. As Gen Z, I have to say I'm honestly so done living these historical events. I want my money back. Yeah, I know, it's annoying. I miss the boring times too, but at the same time, you'll have a bunch of good old stories to tell in the future when you survive, so, you know, when we move to another planet, hopefully without Musk. Okay, it is. What is that? You like Ukraine and you also do like Russia. But what was that comment about the Russia and European Union? What does that have to do with it? What does that have to do with anything? Although there was this little, I think at some point in time, they were role-playing as if they wanted to be a part of NATO. And which is so funny to think about these days, right? But yeah, there was this point in time when Russians were genuinely claiming that they would like to integrate into NATO. It's haha, okay. Yeah, I believed it. So trustworthy. But that was a fluke. It was temporary, and yeah, no one really. I don't think anyone actually believed it. With the European Union, no. Just no. Musk is not ever to be trusted. He is a special... I mean, I wouldn't really call him that. I don't know his actual diagnosis. I do not know his situation. We do know that he's not very smart. He's not as smart as he thinks. He has a huge ego. He has extremely problematic views on many things. I don't think any of us have forgotten his little number during the inauguration, which was just repulsive. So, just a very, and absolutely unpredictable, right? I think this is from the point of view, oh hey, this is the guy who receives all of these military contracts. Yeah, him being unpredictable is perhaps the worst out of that wonderful list of all the things that he is. But the drug addiction definitely doesn't add to his appeal. Okay, let me see what else we have in store. Thankfully, he has been relatively quiet ever since his beef with Trump. So, we had also this interesting article about the potential, this is something. So, the headline reads, Mexican cartels send their fighters to Ukraine to master drones. When I read it, I was like, oh no, thank God it's not 2022 anymore, because all of the MAGA types would immediately, they would be on it and they'd be like, this is why we shouldn't help Ukraine. Thankfully, no one really cares anymore to drag this one all over the social media. And then I just started thinking about how, yeah, this is actually a very real possibility. Hi, Sarah, good to see you, thank you. Because yeah, it depends on the vetting process, and if the vetting process isn't good enough, then there's definitely a possibility of something like this. And when this information, so this article was first published in Ukrainian, and I've seen a bunch of Ukrainian soldiers discussing this on social media, and there was one who was like, haha, I just showed this to the Mexican guy at our brigade, and he looked kind of spooked when I showed it to him. He looked kind of freaked, and he didn't say anything, and now we're all concerned. So yeah, this article suggests that Mexican cartels send their members to Ukraine under false documents to learn how to pilot drones. Alright, this is stated in an article by the French publication Intelligence Online. In their article, the journalists refer to an alleged recent warning from Mexico's National Intelligence Center to the Security Service of Ukraine. The information refers to the presence of Mexican volunteers. We have a lot of foreign volunteers in the army, a lot of mercenaries, a lot of, different types of people. Thank you. So, to joining foreign volunteer units, not for ideological reasons, but to gain advanced knowledge in the use of drones, in particular FPV drones. At the request of the Mexican Intelligence Service, an investigation was launched with the participation of the main Directorate of Intelligence of the Ministry of Defense into several Spanish-speaking individuals who joined foreign volunteer units in Ukraine. So, yeah. It immediately took me back to 2022 when we had all of these fake news, all of these articles being spread around with this disinformation by the Russians. In fact, I could even point you to the one particular place where a lot of it originated. It was Solovyov, whom we already mentioned, about them trying to prove that we are somehow selling the weapons to the cartel, which was ludicrous. Of course, no one was giving the cartel, selling the cartel any weapons, but yeah, try telling this to Don Jr. And the rest of them. They immediately picked up on those lies, started spreading them all over social media. That was awful. So this took me back to that, but this one here, this seems much more realistic, and the possibility of this seems much higher. An article from Intelligence Online claims that some Mexicans and Colombians, we have a lot of Colombians, by the way, among our foreign fighters who arrived in Ukraine, showed an unhealthy interest in piloting drones, ignoring any other training. Okay, now that's not really sus, because that's what the majority of people who are joining the armed forces want to do. This is considered to be like the most desirable position. No one wants to be an infantryman, everybody wants to pilot the drones. Among them is a person under the pseudonym Aguila 7, the name given to a Mexican volunteer registered in March of 2024 under a false Salvadoran identity. That's suspicious. Posing as a humanitarian, he joined a foreign volunteer unit and later completed a full training course in Lviv. Long live Lviv. As we've already established, the Ukrainian instructors noted his high qualifications, mastery of analog transmitters, ability to identify blind spots for a thermal imager, etc. Further investigation revealed that he had served in the Mexican Special Forces, an elite unit trained in guerrilla tactics, counterinsurgency operations, and the use of modern weapons, including drones. And some of those fighters later joined the extremely violent cartel, but it's some of them, right? It doesn't sound by what I read and when I looked at the original article, it sounds like there is suspicions, but they sound as suspicions only, at least for now. I'm not entirely sure how you can prove something like this, track this guy when he returns to Mexico, I'm trying to figure out whether or not he's going to do something. I'm not particularly sure about that. But yeah, there is obviously a danger of that. According to a European security source involved in identity checks at the Slovak border, at least 3 former fighters also passed through international units using Panamanian and Venezuelan documents. Some of these individuals are believed to have passed through private military companies acting as fronts. I know. And yes, I think some of you might have already seen footage in Mexico. Local cartels are, hi Eminem, good to see you, are already attacking each other with drone strikes. Were they necessarily trained by Ukrainians? No, I don't think so. But I think it also indicates, as much as anything else, the fact that the drones are the weapons of the future, and we're just going to see more and more of them everywhere we go. Again, for better or for worse. Hi Richard, good to see you, thank you. Is Musk's mother alive? If so, how is she feeling about her son? Last time, when she was posting on Twitter about him, she was very defensive. She was very proud of him, and she believes that people are attacking him because they're just a bunch of losers and haters. Thank you, Jonathan. And yeah, and she was also, I think she was spotted flying one of the US government's jets with him, which was back at the beginning stages of this whole Doge circus, Chapiteau. When Odessa is under Russian control, will you go there on holiday after the war? If Odessa is under Russian control, which there is still a lot for them to do to ever actually take over it. They already tried once, they failed. If they do, there isn't going to be Odessa anymore. It's going to be leveled in the process. It's going to be destroyed. And there isn't going to be anything, just like, for instance, there isn't much happening in the cities of Donbass that they have taken over. They have made this poster child out of Mariupol, trying to rebuild a couple streets here and there, a couple houses, which is also extremely morbid because they're rebuilding heavily in the places where many houses collapsed with their residents. It's basically the mass burial sites, right? So Mariupol is the poster child. A lot of the places in Donbass that they have taken over that have been leveled completely and utterly are not going to be rebuilt. And there's this massive issue because there are some people who were taken into Russia, evacuated into Russia, whatever. They have no place to go back. And when they're asking the Russian officials, hey, when are you going to do something about that? When will we be able to go back to, this and that place in Donbass? They're telling them, never. No, you're not going anywhere. So first of all, I think it's important to remember that this is the matter of this is not happening anytime soon, and there's still very high possibility that it's never going to get occupied, considered based just on the track record of them trying to take over it and failing miserably. Although they did try. There were all of these attempts, but to no avail. And there isn't going to be one. And also, of course, no, I will never go to the Russia-occupied territories ever. Why would I do that? Last time I was in the Russia-occupied territories was years ago. I was in Crimea. Thank you, Maddie. Thank you. And it wasn't fun. It was not fun. The feeling is off. It's just awful, and you're not feeling safe. I don't understand why would you do that to yourself. I don't understand. I think you have to have very low standards to do something like this to yourself, honestly. I don't know. The season in Crimea has been off. Thank you, Miu. Has been off for a while. And we used to be a touristic destination. We are gorgeous region. But yeah, it hasn't been the same. All right. What is happening? Right, exactly, like Bakhmut is a good example. Severodonetsk that we mentioned yesterday is also a good example. I think Volnovakha, they're not planning on rebuilding Volnovakha at all. Avdiivka, I think it's barely habitable. So, yeah. Putin could just leave. He could just leave this earth, Lexi, and we would all cheer. But, as we have already discussed, unfortunately it might... you mean leave us? You mean leave Ukraine? Yeah, they could just leave. That they could definitely do, but they're not gonna. They're not gonna do this, unfortunately. The roll keeps spinning. It keeps spinning, and it's really hard to stop it. If they stop it now, chances are, I'm sorry, Mr. Lemon, chances are it might turn against them. And this is the only thing they care about in life, their own life and well-being, and their wallets. Okay. We had an interesting, ominous statement from Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk saying that there is a high possibility of the war, Russia-Ukraine war, being over soon, or at least temporarily stopped, which it sounds promising, right? But then you remember that he already said that back in November of 2024, that the next couple of weeks are going to be decisive. So Oh well. Hopefully, let's hope that he knows something that we do not, but also let's be realistic and remember that he already said stuff like this in the past, so maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't actually know anything. That's just a side note of what's been... I love these officials randomly popping up with their little statements about everything. It's like Turkish Erdogan likes to, from time to time, kind of make a little statement about Crimea and then hide back into the dungeon of sadness where he exists. Oh, sorry, missed some comments. Yeah, right, that's probably the case with Musk, I know. I don't think anyone really trusts him. I don't think Trump ever trusted him, because how do you trust someone like this? Aguila. Or is it Aguilla? I don't know anything. Emphasis on first A means eagle. That was your nickname. Are you sure this article's not about you? Now I'm suspicious. I am suspicious. I was about to do that. I was about to read the chat and say, wait, what happened? But I think I realized... Oh, hi Josh! I didn't see you before. 10 to 12 days, I know. 10 days! All the strange ones are showing up today. I don't know what happened. I have no idea. Someone named James just got blocked for 5 minutes. What? Or muted for 5 minutes. Okay, James. What? Alright, I guess I'll never know. What is happening to the people in the gray area that is showing surrounded? It depends on the situation. Usually it means, thank you Dave, hi. It means the active fighting. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Zoe. Did someone call me a traitor? Oh my god. Okay. I don't know. Am I? I know. The imposter is among us, everybody. 2020 references in the house. Okay, what was I saying? What is happening? Okay, the gray areas. We use the term gray areas in several instances. So usually it's either the area of active fighting, right? So with forces, with troops moving, just fighting each other in this region actively. It could be the area of drone battles, for instance. And sometimes there's also, we just call gray areas the areas that we do not know under whose control they currently fall, because there's a lot of territories and sometimes they're just question marks. So you don't even know, maybe there's no fighting, but it's just questionable. And this lack of information actually sometimes brings devastating consequences when the troops themselves do not know whose area that is, and for instance they're being sent on a mission in this area that is supposedly, you know, clean or is supposedly under our control, and then turns out that it's not actually gray at all. It's already fully red. It's already way back in the enemy's rear, and then that leads to the devastating consequences for the people who stayed in the area. This is a huge gamble, basically. If there are any civilians remaining, usually it's either the people who cannot evacuate for some reason, some personal reason. Sometimes it's the people who wait. As we call them, zhduny. We have some zhduny. It's the people who wait for the Russians. So yeah, that's just a gamble. It depends, because any faulty piece of shelling or drone, whatever, missile, anything could destroy you and kill you, destroy your house. So it's always hard to say. It's hard to say. Chat is quite colorful today. I know. I haven't been called traitor in such a long time. Takes me back to talking to my Russian family. The evenings with Teta Marina. You know, just hanging out with your family. New Year, Christmas tree, presents, your aunt calling you a traitor to the state. I know. Good old times. Good old times. Okay. He was. So he wasn't a James, I think. He was probably Yakov or something like that. The liberated Crimean calling me. Or maybe it was my Aunt Marina. No, she doesn't speak English, so. Imagine the plot twist. Thank you, Zoe. Thank you so much. Everyone's saying you're a boss. Everybody appreciates you. I know I do. I don't know if this is a good thing, Trevor, but that's probably a good one, but it's because I haven't really I haven't experienced the worst, not even close to the worst of it, as so many people have. We've been, pretty much chilling, war-wise, and the active campaigns and the shellings-wise in our little region. I guess we chose wisely when we were moving here, at least for now. Thank you. Yeah, it was all fine, no earthquake here. Most of the country is super flat. The two seismic areas in Ukraine, seismically active areas, are Carpathian Mountains, so this place over here, this area over here. Wait, I think we can change it to the satellite so that maybe you can see them. Okay, this is the Carpathian Mountains on the territory of Ukraine. You guys, those of you who are on YouTube, we're also live on YouTube if you want to see the Carpathian Mountains. So this is the seismically active area potentially, but it was all cool. And also in Crimea, look at the teeny tiny one. This is the Crimean Mountains, everybody. And we used to have pretty solid earthquakes, I remember, in my childhood. Yeah. Now, we were not screaming like those people from somewhere in the Russian Kamchatka, wherever they were. But yeah, it was pretty disturbing sometimes. But the rest of the country is pretty flat, so that means very little to no seismic activity. That was the seismic review of Ukraine. Sounds like Thanksgiving here. Oh, I heard you guys have been having some issues with your family members too. Everything I hear about all of these interactions between, the MAGA parts of the family and then, the rest of the family, like all of these stories, they remind me of what communication with my Russian side of the family was like from 2013 to 2022. Because then they went full mask off. Before that, it was very similar. It was a lot of gaslighting. It was a lot of, this nonsense. It's very similar. Exactly. Right, I know, it was. Is the war still happening? Yes, in the east, in the south, and the shellings are daily. And it's also expanding because the drones are now also flying into the NATO countries from time to time. And we've already talked how the European countries are expanding their military capabilities. The US just moved nuclear weapons to the UK. It's expanding. It's expanding, everybody. Slowly but steadily. Okay. Traitor to what? Traitor to the great mother Russia. This is usually what they mean. They believe that we were given an opportunity to be Russian, to be a part of Russia, the glorious Russian world, and we threw it out of the window for God knows what, and it's a great betrayal in their book. At least this is how I read it. I'm not exactly, a master on what's happening in those people's heads, but I think, yeah, something like this. So, oh, you remember that video about rosemary? Okay, I did make a video about rosemary for hair growth, and thank you for remembering it. Was that how I grew my hair so long? It was a part of it, but I think what actually made a lot of difference, not necessarily for the length, but for the thickness of it all, it's just massaging your scalp. because I was doing this routinely for a while. I was using my rosemary mix, and I had this thing like the Ordinary serum for hair, and I was just massaging it every evening for like a couple minutes at least, and I think this did the trick, because the blood flow to your scalp increases and your follicles, they spring back to life, hopefully. At least this is when I saw the difference, and because I've had some disturbing situations with my hairline, which I didn't like at all. I was like, okay, I have to do something about it, and I started doing this, and hey, yeah, there was some result, I guess. I guess. But you never know. Hair is a mystery. It's one of the great mysteries of life. We had a traitor detained in our Air Force. Last time we were discussing the strike on one of our airdromes and how Russians are constantly targeting these airdromes in various regions of Ukraine, especially that one like Starokonstantinov, and I was wondering, do they know something? Are they aware of something happening? Apparently, yes, there was a guy in the Air Force who was leaking everything on our F-16s, on the Mirage planes, which are the French-provided planes, so everything. And yeah, this is what you call a traitor, everybody. We cannot see his face. This is him surrounded by the SBU agents. And yeah, he was finally detained. Apparently, there were already some suspicions surrounding him back in 2022. No one acted on it. Because sure, it's the passivity, everybody. It's this passivity, it's this just, whatever happens attitude that is detrimental. Anyway, yeah, he was captured now. Oh, hi Tim, good to see you. Have they started using any substitute for Starlink? They've been discussing using the Swedish ones, but I haven't heard about any instances of at least mass implementation. If there are any cases, they're not big enough to be spotted. And a couple of days ago, we had the situation where there was an outage of Starlink, and everybody immediately freaked out because it fell throughout the front line. And it was so devastating to me, because I immediately thought, oh no, we still rely predominantly on those systems. And if something goes wrong with those, then I imagine the communication is gonna be broken between our units and the drone operators. So, oof, I know, the biggest oof. Okay, I've missed a lot of things that were happening. Am I counted as a traitor too, since I have ancestry from... Of course you are. Of course you are a traitor. First of all, Finnish people, just traitors by definition. Polish people, the biggest traitors. The Baltics, the traitor. Everyone is a traitor. So if if anyone in your family tree ever had any relation to Russia, and you were not doing everything the way my Aunt Marina wants you to do, then you were a traitor. Or some other random aunt from, God knows where, from Chelyabinsk. Can you talk about what's behind Ukraine tensions with Poland? A bunch of stupidity, mainly on our part, and inability to solve issues before they become way bigger and taken out of proportion. Lack of communication, and also the desire to use these historical grievances for political gain. So yeah, that's basically what's been happening, which is not uncommon for us. It's been ongoing for a while. It's just that we were hoping and praying that hopefully with 2022 and the full-scale invasion and this new chapter in our mutual relations opening up, we will finally, solve everything else. This is mainly the issue that keeps being brought up. It's the issue of Volyn massacre, for instance, but there are also others. There is Zelensky just signed the law basically acknowledging the people who were moved from the territories of Poland, from the Western Ukraine, as deported. So it's like there are layers, of course. There are layers to this, just like with any neighboring countries. But from our side, I see just a lot of incompetence a lot of incompetence. I just look at everything that's happening and I'm just thinking, oh my god, this could have been a text, you could have solved it months ago, but I don't think this makes sense. It makes more sense to continue playing this off for populism purposes, and I hate everything about it. And on Polish side, of course, you also have some dishonest players. You have the far-right party, you have the Konfederacja, and some lunatics within it who are obviously blowing everything out of proportion. So, yeah. I know. Sure, of course. Tech this out. That's a very cool nickname. You can get a shout out. Good to see you. Does Russia already have enough land? Why are they such land grabbers? We've been wondering this for a while, I think. when you look at their map, that's such a good question. Don't you already have enough land? Let's just go to the standard map. Like, look at all this land. Look at all those chickens. Look, it keeps going. This is all land, and it also goes up, and it's also here, and it keeps going. It's all this land, and they need more land. It's not just the land, right? Couple things to keep in mind. It's the resources. It's the symbolism. It's all of this geopolitical importance. It's also the fact that most of their population lives. So basically, Russia is shrinking to the west, population-wise. This is something that you have to keep in mind. All of these vast lands that we just scrolled through, and that I now have to scroll back to Ukraine from, very, very little people, very few people living there. Most of the people living in these regions that you're seeing right here. So the invasion of Ukraine was supposed to be this perfect gambit, right? It was supposed to be a checkmate, where they grab even more people, more territory. This allows for this, slightly overcrowded western part of Russia to sort of blur evenly with Ukraine, I guess. And also this fulfills a bunch of absolute nonsense, this socio-cultural, pseudo-historical mumbo-jumbo that Putin has envisioned for himself about the unity of the Russian people, and he believes that Russians and Belarusians and Ukrainians are all the same people. So, yeah, there are all these layers to that. I hate how I have to know all these things. Oh well. Sorry. The Ruski Mir, I know. They need more mountains. My 6-year-old asked the same question today. Why Russia needs more land? Because they're already... And I think this is it's such a legitimate question. Why are they doing this? I used to wonder this too, especially looking the state in which a lot of those territories are in, how badly everything is kept, and the poverty there. I remember my Russian acquaintances, and they still do this, by the way, they still throw this into our face, like, well, you are poor too. Ukraine is also poor. Ukraine is also disgusting. Look at the dirt in Ukraine. And my counterpoint was always, and this was something to which they could never respond, is like, do we have as much money as you? Does anyone else have as much money in natural resources? Almost no other country, barely any other country in the world has as much potential, as much value in their resources as you do. You're supposed to live like Switzerland, you're supposed to live like Norway, you're supposed to live, I don't know, like the 22nd century. And you, oh well. And they would just look at me like something just snapped in their little brains. What happened to all the regions of the Russian Federation that wanted independence? So first and foremost, I don't think those movements were ever organic. They were never organic. In some places, of course, there is much more potential based on the history, like Ichkeria, for instance. It makes a lot of sense considering everything that was done to those people. At the same time, all of these other different movements, yeah, I think those were not necessarily organic. There was a lot of attempts, obviously, from the outside to play on some pre-existing tensions within Russia, but then whatever there was that existed, it was suppressed by FSB. neat and tidy, at least for now. We'll see what's going to happen with Chechnya, with Ichkeria, once Kadyrov dies, because apparently he's not going to last for too long, but I wouldn't really bet on that. I remember a lot of people like, oh, it's all going to collapse and it's going to be amazing. Well, there's always, of course, there's a potential of something happening, but I don't think it's reasonable to bet everything on this possibility. It's the same map. It's the Deep State map that we use for the front line. And they have a lot of these neat little details. So yeah, there is Moskva right here in the Black Sea. And also, yeah, there is the there are the two clowns that you're seeing. That you're seeing. It's Orban and Fico. So we have clowns over Budapest and Bratislava, right? Wait, is it over? Anyway, so they're supposed to be symbolizing Fico and Orban, our two dearest buddies within the European Union. So yeah, it also has, as we recently discovered, it has all of these regions as well. This is part of Georgia that is occupied by Russia, and it also has some of the regions. Like this is Karelia that was occupied from Finland. So yeah, it's a fun map. I like this map. But also this is the one that we use to look at the frontline movements. Because look, if we open the Pokrovsk area, I think you might recognize it. Let me see. Right, that's the advancement that happened last month. That's a very bummer of an example, but yeah, it's the same map. Would you consider yourself a... No, I'm just a commentator. I'm a commentator. I comment on news and things and stuff. I know, right? And same with Vienna, but Vienna recently started to gradually improve. They even considering joining NATO, which is a long time coming, I think. Thank you for sharing and thank you for liking the live. I appreciate it. Happy to see you too. Good to see you. The cronies in Moscow live like Swiss people. Oh yes, if you've ever been to any of the most beautiful areas of Europe, in southern France in particular, or if you ever googled their villas, you know. Wait, maybe we can even find some of them. Villa Timchenko na юге Франции. Let me see, maybe we can... No, wait, okay, it gives me immediately the villa of Putin's wife, ex-wife. But anyway, look at this, look at the palaces. This is just one example. This is somewhere in southern France. No, but these are just very, very mild examples, but some of them, they're just stunning. There's this castle that allegedly belongs to Putin. It's somewhere near Paris. And yeah, it's beautiful. Do you think it would be a good idea for Austria to join NATO? I think in the current political climate, yeah, 100%. I mean, it's kind of a little bit of cheating on Austria's part already, because they're technically surrounded by all NATO countries, right? Well, I mean, it's not just them in this position, but no, I definitely think it would be a good thing for them, and it would definitely mean a huge step in clearing the environment from all of the Russian influence, because the Russian infiltration in Austria goes really deep, and it's a huge problem. And there are historical reasons for that too, as I think a lot of you know. But yeah, something has to be done about that, I would imagine. But at the end of the day, it's up to them. So if they believe it's good for them, it's something that would be good for their security, then, well, more power to them. Russia wants to colonize the North Pole. Let's protect Santa Claus. Right, yeah, I mean, this is obviously just my opinion regarding the Austria, but I also think that it makes all the sense in the world. But, that's the map. Okay, this is the Deep State map. Let me send you the link. How did I do it? Okay, I think I opened the chat. And boom, there you go. That's the deep state map that I use all the time. And now you can too. Haha. It's very good for tracking the most recent acknowledged Russian advancements at the front. Just Justified was it? Oh no, I missed Justified. No. Were they telling me to wake up again? No. Come on now, Justified. Can you pop up once when I'm looking at the screen? I'm sure there is a lot. There is way more classified documents involving all of these people than we could even imagine, but I'm not entirely convinced it's going to change the situation for us, honestly. Especially, with them yelling, hoax! Everything is a hoax! At every corner, every step of the way. No problem. What do you think about pacifism? At times of war, it's a suicide. You cannot be a pacifist at times of war. Also, I firmly believe that if you want peace, you have to prepare to the war. And I think our example should be a very sad lesson to many people who believe otherwise, because we have tried the peaceful approach. We have given up our nuclear weapons. We have given up our strategic bombers. We have given up our missiles. We have given up so much for the sake of peace. And we have already lost tens of thousands of people, murdered in the most brutal way. And we have lost so much of our territory. Look at this. If you're on YouTube, you are on YouTube right now. You're seeing the map. And we're going to lose more. So many people were disabled and so many people were displaced. That's your answer. That was an honest attempt at pacifism. It was an honest attempt at, doing everything by the book, pretty much. And it kind of sort of backfired tremendously and continues to do so. Дуже дякую вам, дуже приємно. I know, how dare I miss Justified, and it's like a 10th stream in a row this person shows up, right? They're obsessed with me, oh my god. Привіт вам також, дякую, що дивитесь. And hello from Rocky Mountain. That sounds really cool. I always like the sound of it. Pacifism is a privilege. Yeah, I believe so. In this day and age, specifically, yeah. Are there any good anti-drone defense mechanisms? Depending on the type of a drone. Some drones, they are... Okay, so you can use the interceptors of different kinds. And the main issue here is that, even if the Patriot systems, for instance, they have proven to be very good interceptors for all kinds of missiles and drones, but this is where the question of the price comes in, because one rocket for Patriot costs 100 times more than a Shahed drone. So this is an economic suicide trying to do something like this. And also nobody has that many rockets to Patriots to intercept all of the Shaheds. Shahed is considered to be a very cheaply manufactured, very highly efficient weapon. And this is just one example. So you can imagine there are other types of drones. There are other types of drones that are already known. That are also constantly working on developing, more sophisticated mechanisms for those drones. So this is definitely not an answer. Then you have to look at other possibilities. And then if you look at the ways what our air defense is doing, there is everything. They're flying all these ancient Yak planes. Unfortunately, by the way, we've talked about this before, about these ancient planes that have been implemented because they were just sitting useless, and then our forces just started using them to shut down the Russian drones. Wait, let me see. Was it the Yak? Yak проти Shahedів. Wait, this is Russian. Let me change to Ukrainian. Let me see. No, I don't think I will be able to find this article, unfortunately. But so pretty much anything that can fly and anything that can shoot was used against those, but not to 100% effectiveness, because I'm afraid there is no such thing as 100% effective air defense system nowhere in the world. Yeah, right, exactly. None can work if there's a million drones coming at once. So that's the problem. There is also the radio electronic warfare that is used to jam them. And it's relatively effective, relatively working. We are doing this, Russians are doing this too. It works on some types of drones better, and then on the others worse. But also jamming means you're also going to jam the entire area as well. You're going to jam GPS, you're going to jam the internet. And if we're talking about the front lines, I imagine this is a huge problem, considering that on the same part of the front line you might easily have people, I don't know, trying to use something to operate their drone, to operate the FPVs or whatever. So many questions. But whenever we read about the drones being intercepted, there is usually a significant chunk of those drones. It says that they were positionally lost. It usually means that they were jammed. That it was the radio electronic warfare that got them. So, if someone told me, I don't know, in like 4 years ago maybe, that I would know all of these things, I wouldn't believe it. I'd be like, no way. No, me knowing the different types of drones and how you jam the drones and how you intercept the no. That doesn't sound like me. I'm a pacifist. No offense to the pacifists among you. The boat drones. Yeah, the boat drones were beautiful and devastating at the same time. Just devastating because I cannot imagine what the boat drones and also the underwater drones could potentially do to the future of naval warfare. That's a terrifying prospect, but also fascinating. Okay, so we talked about this mole that was caught in our Air Force. We also... Wait, what else haven't we discussed? I think... Oh, Trump again. No, we talked about him announcing these new tariffs. We talked about the... Thank you. Good to see you. We have talked about... Oh, actually, last time you guys asked me, we were talking about the kidnapped kids. Hi, thank you. About the kidnapped kids, and we actually had a very interesting update to that. So, several hours ago, there was an information that HUR hacked the servers of the Crimean government. So it's the... it's exactly what it sounds. As it sounds, the occupational authority in Crimea, and they have received the proof of the thousands of cases of kidnapped Ukrainian children. So that contained the lists of the children that were taken from the occupied territories, the information about their new families, so-called families, and their addresses. And yeah, those are actual lists. So yeah, props to Crimean cybersecurity, or lack thereof, I guess. As you can see, some of those kids were... This kid in particular was born in 2020. Oh my god. That kid was 2. Less than 2 probably, when the full-scale war began. So yeah, that was regarding the information, because we were discussing last time how hard it is to collect this data, and we were like, how are we gonna do this? How are we gonna get all this information? A Crimean cybersecurity expert said, everybody, that's my region, that's the people of my region not being capable to defend their servers from the Ukrainian HUR. Intercontinental weapons. They still exist. They're still very much a thing. Whenever I think about intercontinental missiles, I just can't help but wonder, how many does China have? For some reason, this is something that terrifies me. All right. Regarding the domestic situation and the government's attempt to dismantle the anti-corruption institutions, we are unfortunately still, yeah, we're still where we were. Help, I'm still at the restaurant, as Taylor Swift would have said. It's still the same case. They're discussing bringing it back, but at the same they're discussing taking some steps back because the European Union has apparently threatened us with cutting the financial aid, because of course it did, but also at the same time, so yeah, I don't know. On one hand, our government is saying, yeah, we're gonna accept this much better law that will make sure that our anti-corruption agencies are independent and there's no Russian influence. At the same time, they continue with their nonsense, refusing to. So there was another matter. So we only discussed the anti-corruption agency's independence and autonomy, but there was also the matter of appointing the chief of the Bureau of the Economic Safety of Ukraine, which is another anti-corruption institution, pretty much another body of anti-corruption institution. They were supposed to appoint the chief of that organization, who was independently selected, and nothing has been done regarding that. And the European Union also strongly hinted and suggested, well, they're not even hinting anymore, they're openly saying that you have to do this. You have to do this if you would like to continue working with us. Well, today they were supposed to approve this candidature, they didn't. So everything they're doing, they're signaling an extremely unserious attitude towards anti-corruption reforms, and it just pisses me off so much. I've been crashing out about it for days now. So, yeah. Let me see. I know. I was really hoping I wouldn't have to. When I was starting out talking about these things, I remember the day when I learned the word shelling in this context, and because I was Googling all of these things before I was doing my videos, and then before the live streams too, like all of these different terms, like how do you translate this? Because I never expected to talk about artillery. I thought I was going to talk about anime and stuff, which is what I used to do on TikTok. Oh well. You live, you learn. Trump put more tariffs on... Everybody gets tariffs. You get a tariff. I get a tariff. Brazil gets a tariff. A random island in the middle of nowhere gets a tariff, because why not? I think that's what we should be doing collectively. We should just... Carol says the word tariffs makes my eye twitch. Yeah, it also sort of lost all meaning by this point. I've already heard so many people just using an entirely different definition of this word every single time they use it. Sometimes it means sanctions, sometimes it means taxes, sometimes it could mean anything. Anything. It completely lost its meaning by now, I'm afraid. South Park gets a tariff, everybody gets it. I know, right? Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, I think I will be going back. Honestly, all of this, especially everything that's been happening last week, made me so heartbroken. I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm just gonna go back to talking about anime. And obviously, I'm not gonna, stop talking about this because I care. But, yeah, I'm just gonna talk about other stuff as well, because it's too much. Okay, everybody, and this was an interesting timing for this very bizarre post. So we discussed Valery Zaluzhny in the past, right? Our former commander of the army, and this is, according to many people, many experts, and the pollings, is one of the people who is most likely, if he were to run for president in the next presidential election, he would be very likely to be elected, because he still is very popular, he has very high ratings in Ukraine. So I think this is his post from yesterday. He is currently serving as our ambassador to the United Kingdom, and he has been undergoing rebranding of sorts, because he was before, those of you who remember, he was this typical like military дядька, like your uncle who serves in the army, and not very polished, not very sophisticated. Ever since he went to the UK as an ambassador, things began to change. He got himself a social media team, a PR team. Look, and this is him. This is what he posted yesterday. And this is the ominous image of him, a black and white image in a suit. So before that, I think I brought this up to you guys before, that I was sort of wondering whether or not he would actually consider running, whether or not he sees himself in politics. I think this post serves as sort of a confirmation, I guess, that there's definitely a political potential to him, and this is something that he definitely imagines for himself in the future. The communication style is it's not particularly great, but yeah, he also wrote an article about Ukrainian unity, and this picture in particular that you just saw, it was from Vogue Ukraine, by the way. So anyway. But yeah, just something. And so we had this release from Vogue Ukraine, and we immediately had Russians, of course, jumping in on the situation, being like, it has already been agreed upon, because Russians believe that all of our politicians are appointed by Americans and the English for some reason. I don't know why Americans and English, but they have this concept. They call Americans and people from the UK altogether collectively, they call them Anglo-Saxons, and it's this collective lizard people brain that rules over the universe, according to the Russians. They're like, he was already appointed by the Anglo-Saxons to rule over Ukraine. Like, okay, sure. And then it was immediately dismissed by Hur. I think they have our intelligence. Wait, where are they? I even followed them to show this. Yeah, this is them reposting all of this is Russian Telegram going nuts about Zaluzhny being appointed by the mysterious global worldly Anglo-Saxon to rule over Ukraine. And yeah, this is this is our intelligence. But like, okay, stop that. Just shut up immediately. So, yeah, just something. But I do genuinely believe that there's a high possibility that this might be our next president. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. Thank you for the support. Oh, your daughter has the same shirt, really? Well, I got it in H&M back in 2018, but I got it in Japan. But considering that it's H&M, yeah, they probably had this design at their other stores as well, because it's H&M. So, and I know it's considered fast fashion, not for Eastern Europeans. We do not know what fast fashion is. We're gonna wear those things for decades, polyester or not. So, this isn't going into the landfill anytime soon, possibly not ever. Thank you for your kind words. No, the earthquake was not felt here at all. We're not a very seismically active zone, everybody. Still haven't heard about my application to be the new Russian transport secretary. Maybe it's for the best. Because I don't think I think this job comes with certain caveats. Let's put it this way. Do you think he would be... Okay, wait, sorry, let me just catch up with the... maybe the EU needs its own Wagner Group. EU needs its own functioning military. This is what EU needs first and foremost. Right, I know. Yeah, I should do this. Do you think he would be a much better president at anti-corruption pro-Europe? This is a very good question. I'm still under the impression that the most necessary thing, the much needed thing that we require in order for the reforms to actually work is, first and foremost, we need the constitutional change. and we need the legislative change, and we also need ASAP the judicial reform. We need the court reform. So I am very skeptical about, this cult of personality and the belief, okay, this one guy is going to come in and he's going to fix everything. Because if history has taught us anything, no. The system that is rigged already, to begin with, it tends to drag even, good, well-meaning people down. So if he is capable, or I think in this case it's not just so much about him, but the team of people that will come with him, if they're capable of doing these changes, which will require tremendous personal sacrifices, because this will make them extremely unpopular, and it will require a lot of very unpopular decisions. If they have the guts to do this, then we will finally see some necessary changes within the society. But I've also spent my entire life hoping and waiting for this, so at this point it's really hard to say. I like him just as a person. I don't think I've ever made a secret that this is my stance on him. I like how no nonsense he was. Obviously, there's still a lot of criticisms that could be addressed his way and sent his way, and I don't think no one is shying away from that. But at the same time, I don't know, everything that I was reading, especially regarding the Battle of Kiev, regarding the first couple of months, the steps that he have taken quietly, to hide basically these steps from the moles in our government, even in the upper echelons of our government, the steps that he have taken to ensure, the defense, the relocation of the troops, or, there were so many little nuances that I didn't even think of, because of course, why would I? I'm not a general of the armed forces of Ukraine. You cannot help but feel a tremendous deal of respect towards the guy. So, all right. Let me see. I got carried away, as always. Ukrainian parties, political parties, you mean? Yeah, I think we should do one time, maybe we will do like a little presentation one of these days. It was actually one of the topics that I was considering for the deep dive, and then I decided to do one about the propaganda, and then that deep dive turned to an extremely deep dive, so that's going to be a video. Maybe we could do, just a deeper look into the political parties instead. It's the bad, the even worse, and the ugly, and then there's Yulia Tymoshenko at the very bottom, as always. Yeah, we could do that. Okay, one last look at General Zaluzhny for Vogue. Also the irony, remember Zelensky also did the Vogue interview, but it was the Vogue in the United States. This is Vogue Ukraine, so not as cool and fancy, but still, honestly, it's certain aspects much more creative than the American one. Yeah, there's a reason why Anna Wintour is going. Okay, we're gonna close that down. I think I've done most of the topics. I probably forgot, as always, like 10 things that I wanted to discuss, but oh well. Is this the reporting on the villa of Putin's ex-wife? Wait, this is Biarritz. Russians also love Biarritz. They love the south of France, but they also love Biarritz. No, we're not gonna listen to all of that. I don't care. Are you gonna show us the villa? This is not a villa. This is a construction site. What is this? Okay, no. maybe later. I need to do some research into that. But yeah, they do. They have a lot of properties all over Europe. Let me just close down Senior Zaluzhny. Last time we were discussing Valya Polstakana, Valentina Matvienko visiting the summit in Geneva. One of the guys that was there with her and as a legitimate parliamentarian is Leonid Slutsky, the guy who many believe orchestrated the annexation of Crimea, predicts the death of NATO and funds European extremists, and works with the Russian spies, according to Mikhail Khodorkovsky. So, yeah, last time we were talking, we were mostly concentrating our attention on Valia Half a Glass, but yeah, there were also some other characters who visited Switzerland, despite the fact that they're heavily sanctioned, anti-European, and just overall some of the worst people to have ever walked this earth. So... Yeah, they were all in Switzerland. But interestingly, some of the delegations boycotted their little performances, the little performance of the Russians. I think the Czech Republic's delegation boycotted this. Ours obviously did as well. So shout out to the Czech Republic as always. They've been pretty cool regarding all these things. But yeah, just a little piece of trivia regarding the type of people who are currently being greeted in Switzerland with open arms and red carpets. Trump in India, Germany, we have discussed. Okay, you guys, I think we've discussed most of the things I want to talk about. So yeah, let me know if there's anything I have forgotten to mention, anything you would like to know. And then we will be wrapping it up. Okay, that's just mainly Zelensky. Another piece of Odessa, everybody. This is a guy trying to... I don't even know how to tell you this. He's trying to, I guess, take the mine out of the sea and take it home. Odessa, everybody, the Florida of Ukraine. This is on YouTube, to those of you who do not know. We're also live on YouTube. We're looking at the guy trying to kidnap a mine. And there is another guy just passing by casually in his Adidas. Do not repeat. Oh, he fell down, maybe. Is he drunk? Please do not repeat this stuff at home. Do not take the mines. If you ever find a gigantic, big-ass mine in a body of water next to you, do not take it home. This is funny. What are you doing, man? Why? Okay, it started again from the beginning, but it's just, he tries to do something about the mine, then he washes his face with the salted water, because it's the Black Sea. Wait, did he change his mind? Let's see. He's trying to, then he fell, probably hurts himself on the rocks. He yells something. Something. I think he realizes that this mine could explode, and then he runs for it. He skedaddles. Yeah, what a golem-looking individual. But yeah, everybody. Odessa, mama. No, he doesn't. No, I would never show you this if he blew up. Come on. Who do you think I am? We don't do this stuff here. No. I always double check this stuff before we go live. I don't want to traumatize you guys. Come on. I myself have already been traumatized enough by all of the footage of the gore. So no, we don't do that. The strap is the trigger mechanism, says Direwolf. Okay, that explains it. So probably either he figured it out or someone who was shouting at him told him, and this is why he skedaddled. Okay. Just another day in Odessa, everybody. Just this is the official account, by the way, to those of you who are on YouTube, of the drone manufacturing facility in Alabuga in Russia and Tatarstan. Remember, they're trying to play it all off as the sort of like the educational program for the individuals who would like to learn Russian. And hey, you can come to Alabuga and you can receive your Russian language certificates, but also in reality these are usually the people from the vulnerable people from the global south who are being exploited by the Russians and used in their drone manufacturing. So this is why it was so dystopian to see these promotional videos with mostly women. It's, by the way, it's deliberate. They're deliberately recruiting women from Africa, India, and they're bringing them to these facilities because they're considered, so from what I have read, the explanation was that like women are easier to control, women are easier to manipulate, you don't have to worry about crime, you know, and like all of this just nauseating, absolutely predatory rhetoric. You can see these girls receiving their language certificates. How fun is that? To the backdrop of the largest drone manufacturing operation. And the drones, mind you, that are being used to actively massacre us. How fun, huh? So this is expanding. When they were starting out, it was just a couple people, but now you can see there's dozens of these girls. And they're clearly, no intention for them to stop this anytime soon. But we already discussed that they're expanding this operation. All right, everybody. Okay, let me see if you had any questions. I'm going to be looking at the chat. Is it true that Ukraine is shooting down those drones with everything Ukraine has at its disposal? So, any sort of anything that shoots, pretty much. When we were looking at the video of Odessa, at the very, not the one with the mine, the one with the, wait, where did I have it? I think I already closed it down. Where they shot down the drone, you could hear the rifles at the background because they're using rifles to shoot them down as well. So there are all kinds of things. Okay, the air raid alert intensifies, everybody. Will it reach us? We'll have to see. Might be in for another loud night today. Tonight? What? I think the situation's pretty much the same, unfortunately, with Sumy, from what I have heard. Last time I've checked, one of the villages was liberated. Well, let me show you if you are on YouTube. It was, wait, where's Sumy? There we go. You can see this area in blue, right, near Kindrativka. So there was a counteroffensive in that area. They were pushed back slightly. But also, as you can see, it's just... it looks stabilized. It looks stabilized for now, but at the same time, also this, I don't like the look of this gray area right here. And there was just yet another attack on the main administrative building in Sumy itself. So, wait, I think I saw it. I saw an article. Let me pull it up. Not Lindsey Graham. Oh my god. Go away. We have protests continuing. I'm pretty sure I saw that. Yeah, there we go. This is the regional administration of Sumy, with some people injured in these explosions. This was the drone strike. First on the critical infrastructure, and then there was also an attack on the administration. But okay, this one doesn't really have any pictures. But it continues, unfortunately, because the front is still very close to the city itself. Open arms in Dubai. I know, but Dubai is like their main money laundering hub at the moment, so I preferred when people fought with bows and arrows and samurais. I mean, that could still get pretty gruesome, but there is something extremely dystopian about the drones in particular, so as soon as you said a villa, I thought First Love Island. It's like, please no. A hot new bombshell enters the villa, and it's Vladimir Putin. And Donald Trump. How about that? No one would watch that show. Not even people with morbid curiosity. It's just gonna immediately burn the eyes out of your skull. It's all good. Thank you for asking. Here, nothing has really changed. It's, the same old. Sorry, I answer questions in random order. Because if there's anything handling of TikTok chat has taught me over the years is that sometimes I think I have scrolled and I have seen all the messages. No, it's actually lying to me. I have to scroll back and then I find more messages appearing that I haven't seen before. Because TikTok, yeah, she's like that. This is what she does to me from time to time. Is Odessa man same as Florida man? Apparently. I was always hoping that perhaps Crimea is Florida of Ukraine. No, I don't think so anymore. Honestly, everything I see from Odessa is just, it's so much worse than anything I've ever seen from Crimea. And I've spent half of my life. Wait, is it still half, or is it already less than a half? More, no, for now it's still more than a half of my life. Soon it's gonna be less, but I spent such a long time there. But no, nothing compares to Odessa apparently. Thank you for asking. Now I'm, hanging in there as always. A lot of the news are talking about Russia going after Moldova next. So there was this statement from Maya Sandu and I think Moldovan officials altogether once again stating that there's going to be a potential Russian interference into the election and the democratic process within Moldova, which is absolutely unsurprising. And we've already discussed this in the past, but for as long as Transnistria exists as this proxy Russian region, right, it's right here in Moldova, very conveniently on the border with us, because of course everything has to involve us anyway. That's Transnistria, and while it exists, unfortunately this destabilization will continue, because this is literally why it was created in the first place, to destabilize Moldova. Is there a possibility of some sort of military advancement from there? It's hard to say. As you can see, they are isolated. They're heavily reliant on either us or Moldova itself for supplies. So is there a chance of them randomly advancing towards Chisinau? No, honestly, it's hard to imagine. But at some point, of course, something will have to be done, I imagine, about that. But that's Moldova's business, right? It's their territory. Thank you, Moo. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. I'll see you next time. Apparently Odessa is worse than Crimea. I've never seen a Crimean person trying to steal a mine. So Odessa, yeah, takes the #1 prize for the day. Crimea's Texas. Perhaps. All right, everybody. I think we will be wrapping it up. We have discussed everything, at least most of the topics. Let's just call it an evening. We've already been live for 2 hours. I ran out of tea, which is criminal in this household, so next one, most likely Friday, but please keep an eye out for my Instagram story. I will let you know if we have a blackout or anything. Please go subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you haven't already, the link is in the bio. Hit that bell, watch the Borscht video, let me know what you thought. And yeah, thank you as always for being here. Thank you for your support, and I will catch you next time, okay? Stay safe, stay sane, take care. Thank you all. Until the next time. Mwah. Bye-bye, everybody. That was a gigantic finger. Bye. Okay. Alrighty then. And thank you to everybody on YouTube as well. Thank you for looking at the videos of crazy people from Odessa with me. I hope you appreciated it. I will see you all next time. Mwah. Take care. Until Friday, okay? Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you.